Hello, welcome back to Conversations at thewholenote.com. I'm David Perlman and my guest is Gordon Mansell.
Hello.
Gordon is the founder, would you say, one of the co-founders of the Organix Festival?
Yes.
Co-founder.
And
Now in its
seventh season, yes.
7 seasons of insanity.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Back to the beginning.
Yes.
What made you decide that it could happen?
Well, it was basically a dream over a beer, and my partner at the time, Bill O'Mara,
Right.
and I thought we needed to do something to get more awareness of organ music and organ repertoire. He had just come back from Russia, where they treated on a tour, and they treated him like a rock star. And he was picked up by a limo from the airport, and so it was just a tremendous eye-opener for him and for me as well. And so we determined at that time to create awareness not only of the organ and the architecture of the places where the organs, big pipe organs are. Also, we wanted, really important, to develop an awareness of the repertoire. And the repertoire was not just a church repertoire. It's repertoire that is very diverse and broad, So the issue, the problem mainly is that most people have this idea of a little old lady or something like that playing in a funeral home, and so they instantly do not like organ music. So we've spent the 7 years now trying to change that perspective.
And more than usual, it's not a case of, I brought my harp to the party and nobody asked me to play. You've got to go to the harp's place for
that's right.
So that's another factor. It's not enough to just have repertoire and people who can play it. You've actually got to have the pipes, literally. And is Toronto blessed that way, or?
We're not as blessed as Montreal. We do have some very significant instruments here. We have Canada's largest pipe organ here at Metropolitan. We have a wonderful instrument at St. Paul's, and just a different type of instrument at Holy Trinity. And there are several other places that have really, really special instruments.
And they're all part of the festival?
Yes, they are.
So this year's festival, we're picking up on this. Things are already underway. You started on the 7th of May, and you start on the 7th, but you go through to
June the 6th.
June the 6th, so a full month.
Yes.
And you were telling me that for this, we've dragged you away from rehearsal for a concert that will have taken place by the time anyone sees this. But tell me about that particular one. You were talking about this as being not just organ, but organ and orchestra.
Yes. Part of the legacy that we have is a tremendous library of concertos. And what we performed on the 9th of May was two editions of this. We had a Bossi organ concerto and a Reinberger organ concerto. These are magnificent pieces of music, and very dramatic, very exciting. And if you've never been to an organ concert and you come to this one, you will be hooked for sure because of the drama and the sound, the wall of sound. It's just, I'm so excited because I love this kind of music, and so I was able to amass a 33-piece orchestra and a wonderful conductor, Philip Sarabura, and the organist is one of Italy's finest, Massimo Nozetti. So, a tremendous concert.
So these are secular works,
They
right?
are. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And an organist like him, does he get to lead primarily a concert-giving secular career, or is he, or does he have church
He
affiliations?
has church affiliations, quite steep in church affiliations. He's the cathedral organist in Turin, Italy.
Okay.
He's also responsible for the diocesan music in the Catholic Church. So he is very, very much involved in the sacred and the secular.
Okay. And who are your other visitors?
Well, Nigel Potts and Jeremy Filsell have been selling out crowds all through the States with their duo performances. Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 2 is just a tremendous piece, on, you know, as we know, as piano. But the organ is playing the orchestral parts. So, you know, this is just an incredible performance. And Jeremy Filsell is also performing Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue. So at this one concert, we have many layers so that we can attract more people to at least hear the organ in a different light. You know, so this is a very exciting opportunity.
Are you using mostly the Toronto's church organs
Yes.
this time? We still have a few in purely secular venues like Roy Thompson Hall, Walter Hall.
Yes, but it comes to economic decision as well. I have to pay rent for all the churches that I do use because they need revenue, and so it's a revenue producing opportunity for them. But the cost at Roy Thompson Hall to rent the hall and all this is just prohibitive. You know, I just do not have the audiences to cover that kind of cost.
So this we ran a page on the actual concerts. Anyone who picks up this month's magazine will be able to get a fairly handy list of what's coming up. But they can also go to Organix, Organix concerts.ca, and this is daytime and evening
Yes, yes.
concerts and also lectures, I noticed.
Yes, we from the day one we wanted to also provide a component that would inform and educate. So there has been well, always before a concert there's a discussion, short, just a brief overview, and then after the concert people can go and actually sit on the bench and sometimes play. And so we've been doing this right from the very beginning.
Organ petting zoo after the concert.
Organ petting zoo, yes, exactly, yes. But it's the only way we can get people to actually get a sense of the size and the sound, the touch, the feel is different from a piano. You know, it's multiple keyboards, you know, and also all the stops that you can pull out and the different sounds. And more than one occasion, we've had children so captured by this that they have now started taking organ lessons.
Oh, really?
Yes, so that's kind of rewarding.
Getting a sense of what it means to pull out all the stops,
Exactly.
for example. You know?
Yeah.
Understand those phrases
Yes.
that you think you know what they mean until you actually find out what they really do mean.
Yeah.
That's one of them for sure.
Yeah.
So in the coming weeks, are there other concerts with orchestra?
In the coming weeks, we have a concert for organ and trumpet. That will be 20th and 21st century music. So my programming of that is to establish firmly in people's minds that it's not a dead instrument. There are composers that are still writing for the organ, and there's a lot of them. So this is very fresh music.
Well, if you could write for one instrument that sounds like an orchestra, you're going to have more opportunities to have your work performed than if you compose for full orchestra these days, or at least for repeat performances anyway.
Yes.
So what's the organ that you're most closely associated with when you're not doing organics?
I'm also a performing organist and a church organist. I play at Our Lady of Sorrows, which has A wonderful Baroque instrument. It's known throughout the world and as one of the gems. So I'm very, very fortunate and honored to be the music director and organist there.
Some years your performers have been a lot of members of the local community. It looks to
Yes.
me this year as if you're bringing in people from outside more
It's
this
a little
year.
bit, yes, well, it's a little bit of a mix. I have local talent, but the gala performances this year include international performers. And what I wanted to do is give an opportunity for our emerging artists to meet the international artists, to assist them as page turners and to help them out. It's a way for mentoring and getting a spark in the young organists that we do have. We have many very, very talented organists, and I'm very excited about that. And this is a great opportunity for them to see what's going on.
Oh, I know I wanted to ask you, you had mentioned going back to the very beginning of this, Bill coming
America.
back from
Russia.
Russia. Was that doing solo organ or was that working organ and trumpets at the time?
That particular occasion, it was solo organ. And Russia is a very exciting place if you're an organist. They have a school there. There's 500 organists learning in school. It's it is quite a different mentality. And I find that in Europe, it's a different mentality for organ music as well. When I host a Polish organist, and this year we do have a Polish organist, Marek Kudlicki, the whole Polish community comes out.
Because they know him already.
They know of him, or they have the sense that they know that they're going to get really good performance. And it's very, very interesting, and it's different dynamic. I have Diane Bish coming to close Organix, and I hosted her a couple of years ago, and I thought for sure I had a gold mine because I had everybody's, they had to buy through an online source. So I had everybody's email, I had everybody's contact information, and so I thought I had gold. And it turns out that they will only go to hear Diane Bish. They won't go to hear any other organist. So it's Diane Bish. She's become so well known around the world for her Joy of Music series.
Right.
And the fact that she's such an entertainer, which is an interesting thing because most organists are, a lot of organists are very academic.
Right.
And we need to understand that we need to entertain. We need to have some kind of a catch, something,
We've got two strikes against you because you're playing with your back to the audience and usually almost invisible, which doesn't
Yes.
help to start with, does it?
No, that's very true.
But I remember myself going back 2 or 3 years ago and really for the first time becoming involved in listening to some of these concerts and just astounded by the difference in the voices of the various instruments, that you could almost take the same piece to 3 different venues and it would never sound never sound the same.
Very true.
And would require a whole different set of skills and techniques from the organist to. Is it a case? Does it take time to? Do you really have to come in and familiarize yourself with an instrument?
Yes, there isn't any other musician in the, all across all the instruments that so much is demanded of than an organist. because a piano is pretty standard. You sit down at the piano and away you go. Or if you have a flute or something, you can bring that with you.
Right, exactly.
That is yours. You travel with it. It is your friend. An organist needs to parachute in and get familiar with the organ and the sounds and how it reacts, the acoustics. There's a lot of demands placed on an organist to maintain that musicality. And consequently, I think organists are very musical people, and they have to be able to adjust and adapt. No two flutes will be the same, and there are other idiosyncrasies of every organ and every organ builder.
So it's a challenge, and
It
as
is.
an instrument, and a challenge to get people to actually say. Part of it is, again, I think, because the venues are
Churches.
typically churches, and people have an experience of organ music of a certain
Yes.
type.
Yes.
And it really shouldn't be so hard. We use our churches for extraordinary concerts of all kinds. And so to go and listen to a concert of music that is innate to the structure shouldn't really be such a far stretch. And I'm sure it won't be. I hope you go from strength to strength with this.
I hope so.
And
Thank
I
you.
hope this little interview's out in time to get some people thinking of actually going out and listening to some quite transforming music.
Thank you. Yes.
And thank you for visiting with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you. We'll see you again. Bye-bye.